This tablet right here is $52 at the time of this video. At least that's how much I paid, minus the cashback I got from the Prime Visa. And if you do get like a later shipping date, you can get 6% cash back, which is pretty nice. So you can expect to get this for around $50 at the time of this video. And the reason why this is a big deal is because 8-inch tablets don't usually go on sale, or the regular price is usually somewhere above 60, 70, or 80 bucks, especially with having 4 gigs of RAM, but I guess that's changing now. On the side here, you can see it says there's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and it doesn't really say much else here. Also, on the listing, you may see it's mentioned that it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it's actually just 4 gigs with 4 gigabytes of VRAM. So they kind of just like add those together to make it look like 8. But still, it's nice to have 4 gigs on a $50 tablet. In the box, got the tablet itself here. Mine's in like light blue, I think. Seems like it's just made of plastic all around, but you know, that's to be expected. And there is a cover at least, kind of a protector. Put this to the side, and in the middle you got the user manual, cables, just one cable, USB-C to USB-A. Seems like a decently long cable, and a wall outlet here, a USB-A wall outlet. This being made from plastic is kind of nice because it feels a little bit more lightweight compared to like the ones that are made from aluminum that I've been holding on to. It's easy to grip in one hand. The bezels are kind of thick on the sides, but on this side it's not too bad. On the top you have the USB-C port, micro SD card slot for expansion, and yes, a good old USB or 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Always nice to see that these days. Volume keys on the right side and power button. This might be a microphone or reset button. And then behind that is a camera that's slightly protruding, and surprisingly enough, there is a little flash that's there. On the bottom, you've got a speaker grill, and then nothing else on the side. On the top right, the front camera. And then take this out, you do have a screen protector that's still pre-installed on here, which is actually really nice that they included all this, kind of the main stuff that people might need. Just in case if you're wondering whether or not you want to use this, if a child can use this, you can set this up for a child or for yourself if you're an adult or teen. The screen itself doesn't really get that bright outside. I mean, it's not really that bright out. The sun is kind of setting. It's kind of cloudy basically, but still it's viewable outdoors. But in daylight, broad daylight, it's not going to be viewable. I mean, this is barely viewable. It looks a little bit better in person than it does on video from what I can tell here. The screen is 1280 by 800. That's the important thing here. It's not laminated or anything like that. It's an IPS screen. So, and it does have a wideband level of L1. So that means you can watch videos at HD. Well, since this is 1280 by 800, so you'll be able to watch videos at HD on streaming platforms like not just YouTube, but Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, etc. The one thing that is noticeable is that the screen is not as smooth when interacting with it all the time. Right now it looks good, but if I were to take some type of like screenshot, there would be kind of a delay. Okay, that was way better than expected. I promise you, when I wasn't recording, I took some screenshots of how much storage was there before I downloaded everything, and it was just super slow. But that may also be because everything was starting up for the first time, so it might have been a while, or it might have taken some time to load everything up. But anyways, this is what it came with out of the box, so not much bloatware, and 51 gigabytes of storage free, plus with a micro SD card for expansion. That's quite a bit, I would say. One thing that might slow this down a bit is having Google Hub here. It is a little slow. Oh, that's so random, all this stuff here. But yeah, it's nice to have, but I think that'll slow it down just a bit, because it only has 4 gigs of RAM, which for a tablet of this caliber, it's quite a bit. In general, I think like the less you have, the better. But regardless, so far, so good. I really can't complain after loading this up. I think you can kind of tell from there when I go back and forth. It's a little slow, and it's just not as smooth. Another thing that's not so great is the camera, but I guess there is one, so better than nothing, right? So let me just take a look at that one real quick. Yeah, it's probably just enough for a Skype call or whatever. And then here's one taken of the box itself from the rear camera, and it's a little better than I expected. I can actually read everything down here, which is not bad.
It's a little different from the others. It actually is more of an upgrade, I want to say. First and foremost, this has a 16 by 10 resolution. This is
the
going to be good
speakers
for watching.
Watching videos is fine on here at 720p. I have no complaints. The speakers are a little tinny. They probably don't get that loud, but that's probably as to be expected as well. One thing that I do notice here is some slowness. It is kind of laggy, stutters here and there, and even freezes at some points, which is pretty unfortunate. But if you can overlook that, basic web browsing is decent. On these low-end tablets, things like an Opera Mini browser make sense. Chrome just takes up a lot of RAM and it's just not as convenient, not as compatible with low-end devices like this. So basic web browsing, basic tasks are going to be fine, watching videos in HD on YouTube. And then on the Geekbench scores, it was pathetically low. Maybe that's to be expected. The single core score was 446, multi-core score was 1594. That's lower than like one of the old Samsung Galaxy phones from like years ago. It's lower than that. And then this is the GPU score. I tried running another GPU score, but it just never worked after the first time. I'm not sure why. On CPU-Z, you can see exactly a little bit more what you're getting yourself into. There's the GPU, is a Power VRO GE8300. This sounds familiar. And then an ARM Cortex A53. That sounds like something from 2015. Just so long ago. Wow. Funny enough, this ad popped up here, and just want to say these easy low-end 2D games are going to work just fine on here. You may notice some lag and slowdowns, but it's still enough to play this. And here are the rest of the specs. I'm not going to go through everything here, but just so you're aware. First game here is Clash of Clans. This is probably going to be the only game that works decently on here, I would say. More than decently, this doesn't really have any problems whatsoever. Maybe if I zoom in. Nope, still works great. Everything is working like a charm. So yeah, really no delays, not much of anything at all. Next game here is Roblox, and my goodness, this is so slow. And it freezes up way too much. So a game like Roblox, if it can't play smoothly on here, that should tell you it's not really meant for gaming outside of the low-end like 2D games or some older games like Clash of Clans. Those low-end ones would be alright. But yeah, wow, my goodness. Honestly, for what it's worth, I still think that this is good. Despite it not being able to play most games, it lags here and there. Mainly because it can be used for basic tasks and also watching videos in HD. That's really what it's worth here, especially for the price. At $50, this is kind of a throwaway tablet. I don't really know of any other HD devices or HD tablets you can get for $50. They might be out there, especially when it goes on sale during Black Friday. That's the exception. But in general, for $52, if you're looking for something to watch like YouTube on, something simple, then I'd say this is definitely an option out there. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Is this something you would consider getting? If so, what would you use it for? I'd love to hear your comments down below. And leave a like if you found this video helpful, and subscribe for more, as I'll be checking out more tablets in the near future. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.